What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about Shadur Sanders and his comparisons to players like Bronny James or Lonzo Ball. But before we do that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment, tell anyone about the show. Trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Shadur Sanders and his comparisons like a Bronny James or Lonzo Ball. Kind of interesting. And let's all right, cool. Shedur's been cool, right? Like he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, okay? Fifth round, 144th pick. Some people felt like, Buddy slipped. I get that. I get that. Now let's keep in mind, all right, Shadur did play for Jackson State. Then he went to Colorado. There was no championships. There was no playoff berths. Like we didn't see him in the playoffs, right? For the NCAA. That aspect, cool. I hear that. He still played well enough, I think, to say that all right, he was deserving second, third round picks. I get that. I hear that. My issue though is this, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna act like Buddy really dominated the way y'all talking about. Like he wasn't a definitive first round pick to me. Again, based on what was displayed in college. I think when we're talking about first round picks, Travis Hunter, right? Like that's a player who showcased first round pick. I don't know what else to say. If he was that dominant, everything else I'm about to say wouldn't even really matter. But a bigger gripe that people have is why they felt like he dropped. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think it was because of Deion. Partly. Partly. Because let's not act like Deion ain't a little cocky, right? And I'm certain that when you are cocky, granted, deservedly so, Deion was great, especially prime time, hence the name. I will say that might rub people the wrong way. Like we gotta at least recognize and acknowledge that part. Whether y'all agree or disagree, you at least gotta acknowledge it. I hope so. So if that's rubbing people the wrong way, Deion meaning, if you want to get back at Deion, and again, Deion's been good. Did well at Jackson State, did well at Colorado. There were some eyes on him. Kind of turned around that program. Can't be mad at you. Like Deion's done pretty well on and off the field, whether you're a player or a coach. So if people are going to hate, guess what? They're going to attack Deshaun. So again, whether y'all believe it's right, wrong, or indifferent, I understand Shedeur potentially falling to the fifth round. And keep in mind, too, let's not act like the fifth round is bad because the player who we call the GOAT was drafted in the sixth round. Shout out Tom Brady. So again, let's not act like Shadur Sanders cannot have a decent career and pay attention to storylines too. Because, well, he go to the Browns, he turns around that Browns team. Like, that's a great legacy builder for Shedeur right there. Just being honest with y'all. So again, I understand why Shadur Sanders did drop. If you want to say he didn't dominate in college, okay, I hear that point. If you want to say someone was upset because of Deion, I hear that point. I wouldn't agree with that point if it happened, if that was the reason. I understand. But where they're kind of losing me is they're acting like this is the issue or this is comparable to a Bronny James. Because see, here's the thing. I think the comparison between Bronny and Shedeur, we got to focus on. Shedeur did kind of play into that whole ego thing. Like Shedeur is a little closer to Deion than we want to give him credit for. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that because you got to be confident, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not telling Shedeur not to be confident. But in this sports world, in this business world, they may want you to adapt a little bit more so. And when you are flossing and glossing the way that Shedeur has, again, rightfully so, but at the same time, when you do that, that does bring additional attention on you, additional question marks on you. So using someone like Bronny, all right, yeah, Bronny got Braun's name. I can't definitively say he was flossing and glossing like that. Like they're kids, you gotta let them do that, right? But like when they're playing on the courts, a little bit different. Granted, you can say production was different as well too. I hear that. as a person, it doesn't seem like Bronny flosses like that in comparison. Just me. And again, the biggest gripe for Bronny was that they felt like it was an entitled thing because of Braun trying to have the Lakers draft him. It wasn't necessarily Bronny's actions. And people like Bronny, actually. And I'm sure people like Shedeur as well. I'm just saying the cockiness aspect, that does play a factor when we're talking about acquiring people. I also mentioned Lonzo Ball. Well, let's not forget, Lonzo Ball was actually dominant. See, people say that Bronny James was trash, right? Well, context wise, he did have heart issues. I've talked about this before. Bronny displayed top 10 potential for me. But okay, cool. Situation didn't really pan out the best. How about with Lonzo Ball? Because he did ball out. No pun intended. But the biggest gripe was his dad. Now, this might be a little bit more comparable to Shadur Sanders. Only thing was, I can't definitively say Deion has been as bold as LeVar was when Deion was in college. Like, I can't say Deion says Shedeur is better than Patrick Mahomes. But LeVar definitely said that about Lonzo Ball when Lonzo Ball was at UCLA. So again, there's still differences in this scenario. So again, ladies and gentlemen, do I understand why Shadur Sanders dropped to the 5th round? I can understand it. Again, when I'm talking about dominance, if he dominated the way Travis Hunter, his teammate, did, we're not having this discussion. And y'all can say, well, Travis Hunter's a freak of nature. He played on both sides. Well, I hear that. All right, cool. But I mean, there were other players who arguably could have been better perceived than Shadur Sanders. So again, ladies and gentlemen, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not saying he can't have a good career. Story's definitely not over. It's just beginning. He put that work in. Easily can do well. Just got to put the work in. But I'm tired of hearing people say, "Oh, it's a problem that he fell to the 5th round," or bringing up other players and how they're perceived as cocky. When I wouldn't say that's really cocky. That's more so your network. Like, end of day, Shedeur got drafted at a decently reasonable rate. I could, again, 2nd, 3rd round, I would have thought. 5th round isn't that bad, especially when we know that Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. So, but ladies and gentlemen, I am curious what you all think about Shadur Sanders. Was he drafted too low? I definitely want to hear your thoughts. But I mean, that concludes the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. So I greatly appreciate you all for listening. Thank you. But most importantly, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.